I want to get into something else this morning. I want to get into our first heartbreaks. And our first heartbreaks, that's how real it is. Because Spirit know I'm about to go in. Our first heartbreaks come from the home. Our first heartbreaks come from our parents and the conditioning in which we grew up in. Speaking for myself, I came from a very, very toxic environment. I'm talking mother getting knocked out, grab the ammonia toxic. Every Friday, it was lit toxic. It was horrible. And I became that person. I became that woman growing up in my childhood. I raised my brothers and sisters. I have 7 siblings. Well, 5 siblings that's under me. And I raised them, right? So then when I got to be grown, guess what? From my conditioning, I'm just going to do everything that I was what normalized in my head, and that was to go out here and chase a family, but really I'm just chasing what it was that I was missing. You feel what I'm saying? So a lot of these women, we get into these toxic relationships and really don't understand why we get into these toxic relationships. Why? Because it's from your mind conditioning. It's from what you experienced. It's from what you lacked. I came from a household where they weren't family orientated. I came from a household where we were used as pawns. I came from a household where I'm gonna have all these kids because I really want food stamps and all of that. You feel what I'm saying? We about to really get into some real shit right now, right? There was really no love. And I grew up and I started to chase that. This. I need this family in which I felt like I was lacked, or this family in which, I didn't get as a child. And a lot of us, we get into these toxic relationships just from that conditioning alone. Like, you see your mother getting knocked out. Guess what? You're going to normalize that. Oh, this man loves me because if he knocked me out, then that means that he really care about me. And he really, that's not normal. We normalize, melanated people, we normalize some things so much because we are so embedded in trauma. And this is before my parents. This is before my grandparents. We have to understand that we're under heavy magic, right? Because our slave ancestors, DNA don't die. Right? We don't die. We're spirits. But guess what? DNA doesn't die. So it just gets transferred. So we come from a time in which our men was emasculated and our women had to operate in over masculine energy. Why? Because they didn't feel protected. But what bothers me most, right, is we don't take the initiative to heal. And that's what I love about spirituality. Because when you really start doing the shadow work and when you really start to heal, you start to look at things from a different perspective, right? And that helps you along your healing journey. I knew that my life was created from myself, right? But also the conditioning in which I've experienced. And I also know that my mother's situation was created from the lack of something that she experienced, right? So each one teach one. We have to heal, right? Because if we don't, then guess what? We're going to keep creating the same scenarios, the same situations for our children. I'm telling you that because I was that mom. Gratefully, my children are young enough to where I can now, guide them into a better way by first taking initiative and accountability for what it was that I brought into my life. Yeah, that's what my life was. But guess what? That doesn't determine what it is that you become, right? The biggest thing for me is, and that's why I go so hard with preaching religion, right? Because we don't take the initiative to save ourselves. If we continuously to pray outside of ourselves, we're waiting for deliverance from someone else. I'm letting you know right now, if you don't save yourself, you don't save your bloodline. You don't save your children. You're going to continuously make the same impressions on them that they are then going to project into their lives and their adult lives. It's time to heal. God ain't coming to save you. You are the God in which you're asking for savior for, but you don't want to do the work. Black motherfuckers is lazy. Y'all just want to be taught something and run with it. I'm here to tell you it don't work like that. Once you know better, you do better. But first you got to know better. You got to put that book down. You got to go within yourself and say, self, what's going on? Clear your temple out. Go down to your beliefs. Reprogram your subconscious mind and let yourself know that, listen, I am the creator of my life. And if I don't start to create something different, then guess what? This is going to be my life and the life of others. If you love your kids, you got to do better. If you love your kids, you got to show them better. You got to show them how to meditate. You got to show them their affirmations. You got to show them how to mind, body, spirit, how it all works, right? That's what we got to get into. It's not a time to be begging and praying and saying, God, help me, because God don't help you like that. Don't work like that. We say prayer, but we don't even know what prayer is. Prayer is casting spells, right? Right? And the spells that we cast on ourselves is, God, please help me. Please help me. No, no, no. Prayer is supposed to be, God, thank you for this morning. God, thank you for my home. God, thank you for my family. God, thank you for love. And that's how you create more experiences that resembles that. It's time to tap in. These babies needs to be saved. Ain't nobody coming to save us. It's years of this bullshit. Years. Years of it. Years. When did God save? When God saved the enslaved people? You know what that was? That's a spiritual attack. We're still under a spiritual attack. They got us in a chokehold with all lies. Whole time we are the gods and goddesses on this rim. We are the indigenous people. Melanated beings. Do you know what that means? When I say melanated, you top of the line. Everything comes from you. Hello? It's time to tap in. It's time to take our power back. It's time to take our power back in our homes. It's time to take our power back within ourselves. It's time. It's time. It's time.